In this episode, I will be discussing some terms and their definitions as they will be used in the next two episodes. I do not present these definitions as the absolute and only definitions for these terms, only as the definitions for the context in which they will be used by me. I will also be providing the etymology for some of these terms to further explain their upcoming usage and to add context to the definitions. These terms are discussed in an order so that one definition will build on previous definitions whenever possible. Let's begin with the two broadest terms and work our way from there. The North American Dictionary defines theism as the belief in the existence of a god or gods. I will broaden this view further to include the belief in a divine higher power than man. That being stated, atheism, being the opposite of theism, would refer to the disbelief in a higher power or god, or more precisely, the belief that there is no divine power higher than man. The term divine is used in its broadest context, meaning some intangible, sustaining force in the universe that can only be discovered through intuition, inspiration, or other supernatural means. Stated simply then, theism is the belief in divine power, and atheism is the belief there is no divine power. Most theism requires some degree of faith. Gnosticism, being an exception to that rule, says that knowledge of the divine must be learned through study, meditation, and ritual. Gnostics believe that salvation comes from knowledge of truths that free men from their materialistic bonds. Mysticism is the belief that through ritual or the provoking of certain powerful emotions that communion with and understanding of the divine is achieved. Gnosticism and mysticism predate Christianity and were practiced by sects of many religions. Kabbalah is considered by some to be Jewish Gnosticism or Jewish mysticism. Agnosticism, being the opposite of Gnosticism, believes that the existence of the divine is unknowable. In other words, agnostics believe that it is impossible to prove or to have absolute belief in divine existence. The modern term ignorant is a derivative of the word agnostic and has taken a somewhat negative connotation, meaning someone that does not have knowledge of a particular subject. Paganism and Druidism both practice the worship of nature as being divine. Both predate Christianity and believe that through his communion with nature, man gains insight into and favor from the divine. Where paganism and Druidism differ is in how the communion with nature occurs, and also in the pagan belief in deities or gods that represent the different aspects of nature. Egyptian, Roman, Greek, and Nordic mythologies were all forms of paganism. Druidism was practiced primarily by Celtic tribes. This brings us to pantheism, the belief in many gods, all gods, or the belief that God or the divine is in everything. Many forms of paganism were also pantheistic. Judaism is the belief that the descendants of Abraham have a covenant with the one true God. The Jewish people are sometimes referred to as the children of Abraham, the tribes of Israel, Israelites, and Hebrews. Abraham was bound in a covenant with God after he showed his obedience to God by his willingness to sacrifice his son at God's command. God stopped Abraham before he completed the sacrifice and instead had Abraham circumcise his son Isaac as a sign of God's covenant with Abraham. The practice of circumcision has become commonplace outside of the Jewish community, but it holds special significance with the Jewish faith. Israel was the name given by God as a special honor to Jacob, Abraham's grandson. The descendants of Jacob's 12 sons are called the 12 tribes of Israel. This is also where we get the term Israelites. Judah was the fourth son of Jacob, and the term Judaism comes from a derivative of his name. The term Hebrew refers to the language spoken by the Israelites when they moved into Canaan. It has also been used as another name for the Jewish people. Semitic and Zionist are also terms that refer to Jewish people. The term Gentile refers to anyone not of Jewish descent. Christianity is based on the life, teachings, and example of Jesus Christ, also referred to as Jesus of Nazareth. There are many forms or branches of Christianity having some similar and some differing beliefs. Many of these will be discussed in detail in the next episode. All forms of Christianity agree that Jesus was a Jew and a descendant of the Jewish King David. Most forms of Christianity believe that Jesus heralded a new covenant between God and man. Ecumenical is a term used to describe the attempt at unifying the differing Christian beliefs. and the term Catholic, as used by the ecumenical councils, refers to Christianity as a whole. Roman Catholic and Orthodox refer to branches of Christianity that believe in papal authority, with the head of the church being God's representative on earth. Protestant refers to Christians that do not believe in papal authority. Islam is a religion that believes God spoke through the Prophet Muhammad and provided a set of laws to be followed. Islam, literally translated, means the law. The practitioners of Islam are called Muslim, meaning one who submits to the will of God. Muslims consider many prominent Jewish and Christian figures to be Muslims, as they were subservient to God. Now that I have given you the definitions and backgrounds for the major terms I will be using in episode 5 and 6, perhaps we can continue this discussion and start from common ground.